I've been waiting to do the prediction markets segment on the show. I can't believe it's taken this long, but I am so excited to talk about it with you. Talk to me about what we know about Coinbase's plans to expand in the space.
Prediction market has been a hot trend this year, and really starting from late last year, ahead of the U.S. presidential election. And increasingly, we are seeing more companies, especially crypto companies and different type of brokerages, are moving to offer prediction markets. So the latest one is Coinbase. And Coinbase, according to my reporting, is set to launch their own prediction markets, which they will unveil in their product event in mid-December. And they are going to work with Kalshi, which is a U.S. regulated prediction markets, to offer the product.
How lucrative could this be for Coinbase? How do they plan on making money? Do we know anything about that?
We don't. And we know that there's intense competition among the two major prediction markets right now. One is Polymarket, which doesn't really charge transaction fees yet, so they don't really make much revenue. And another one is Kalshi, which does charge transaction fees. So I think so far the priority for all these players is really to grab market share and to be able to attract users, as opposed to prioritizing generating profits.
Tell us a little bit about the rivalry between Kalshi and Polymarket. Are they literally the exact same products? Is one more popular? Has one gotten more venture funding? What do we know about them?
They're competing head on. Historically, Polymarket is the one that's offering outside of the US. They're bigger, and they for a few years they were not allowed to operate in the US because of a regulatory settlement that they reached with the CFTC. And then on the other hand, Kalshi is the biggest provider of prediction markets in the US, and that's because they have a license under the US regulatory regime. However, this year things are going to shake up a little bit, and that's because Polymarket in the summer was able to get regulatory approval to enter the U.S. market after they acquired a licensed exchange and clearinghouse. So right now we expect to see both markets showing up, both providers showing up in the US market, and we expect to see intense competition between them in all aspects, not just in competing for users, but also investor capital,
Right.
increasingly partnerships, and also
Which one has raised more venture capital so far?
Polymarket is valued higher so far. So last month they raised at $8 billion valuation, including from the owner of New York Stock Exchange, and Kalshi raised at a $5 billion valuation last month, and they are backed by big name investors such as Andreessen.
And can you walk me through a little bit of the regulatory discussion here? You touched on it a little bit, but look, crypto, the name of the issue at hand really has been, is crypto a security? Is it a commodity? Is it neither? Where does it sit in the regulatory system? Who even regulates it? Now we have this environment where we have a little bit more regulatory clarity with crypto. But how do the prediction markets fit into that issue? And has that been a challenge for them at all? Or is it fairly similar to crypto in that it's looser regulations, and so that's why they're allowed to get traction here?
So prediction markets in the US are regulated by the CFTC, but they are, for these companies to expand, they are still pushing the regulatory boundary. And part of it is really related to the kind of bets that they're offering, because they're letting people to bet on all sorts of things that historically don't really have a market for, such as whether Taylor Swift will have a wedding next year, or the year after. And that, I think, starts to get murky because some of the markets that we know are definitely not allowed to be launched include, for example, betting on the assassination of politicians. And that's something that will definitely be illegal because you do not want to offer a market where you could potentially incentivize people to carry out an assassination. But then
Right.
for some of the other events, it's less clear, and that's where it starts to get tricky. And also, a lot of the bets are related to sports,
Right.
and historically, sports contracts in the US are regulated by state regulators. These markets will also have to deal with state regulations. And then there's also a whole host of issues related to policing wash trading, insider trading, and these are issues that just occur with any markets.
But despite all this, one of the things you talked about in your story is it's not just Coinbase. There are other big public companies that are also increasingly looking to prediction markets to expand their operations.
Yes, and we know that crypto companies are the first adopters. So Coinbase is moving ahead.
DraftKings was the other company you mentioned.
Yes, sports companies, DraftKings are moving ahead as well. Crypto.com has a similar product, and even President Trump's Truth Social announced plans to get prediction market. And so are the brokerages. Robinhood is another one offering prediction market.
And so just bringing us back full circle to one of the earlier questions I asked you at the start around what this means for Coinbase's strategy more broadly, is this an effort for Coinbase to diversify their revenue? Is this really just, is it the next crypto in terms of a market that is starting to get built up? What does this mean for Coinbase's strategy overall?
Yeah, it's part of Coinbase's strategy to become an everything exchange. So they started with crypto trading. They have big followings among crypto users, but they're also hoping to bring more types of assets onto their platforms, and prediction markets is part of it. They're also working on tokenized stocks, which is to allow users to be able to get exposures to US stocks on the blockchain through token format. And it is part of their plan to be able to offer more types of products and become more integrated with the financial life of their users.
Great. Well, Yueqi, I want to thank you for coming on. It's a fascinating story, and we will have you back on again soon. That is Yueqi Yang, our crypto reporter here at The Information.